The mother city, Cape Town, a place where the natural beauty of Table Mountain meets the vibrant energy of its diverse communities. Yet, beneath this picturesque facade lies a darker, more sinister reality. Cape Town is a city of contrasts, where breathtaking landscapes coexist with the harsh realities of organized crime. The underbelly of this city is a world fraught with danger, where power is often measured in fear and violence. At the heart of this shadowy world, one name stands out above all others: Nafiz Modack. His name echoed through the streets, a name that struck fear into the hearts of many and commanded a grudging respect from others. This is the story of Nafiz Modack's meteoric rise to power, a tale woven from the threads of extortion, violence, and a relentless pursuit of control. His journey from obscurity to infamy is a testament to the dark allure of power and the lengths some will go to achieve it. In the beginning, Nafiz Modack was just another name in the crowd. He wasn't a figure of fear or respect, but rather a man with a vision and an unyielding determination to rise above his circumstances. In 2017, he emerged from the shadows. Modack quickly proved himself to be a cunning operator. He understood the levers of fear and intimidation, and he used them to his advantage. His ability to navigate the treacherous waters of the criminal underworld set him apart from his peers. Nafiz Modack had become synonymous with the city's underworld. His reach extended into the very fabric of Cape Town's nightlife and business sector, where his presence was both a source of dread and a perverse form of stability. This is where our story begins, in the heart of a criminal empire built on intimidation and violence. As we delve deeper into the life and times of Nafiz Modack, we uncover the intricate web of alliances, betrayals, and power plays that defined his rise to the top. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Modack's journey into the heart of Cape Town's underworld began in the nightclubs. These vibrant, chaotic spaces were more than just places of entertainment. They were the breeding grounds for illicit activities and power plays. It was here, amidst the pulsating music and the flow of illicit substances, that he learned the art of control. The nightclubs were a microcosm of the larger criminal world, where every transaction, every exchange, was a lesson in power dynamics. Starting as a bouncer, Modack quickly understood the power dynamics at play, the unspoken language of threats and the currency of fear. The role of a bouncer was not just to keep the peace, but to enforce a certain order, a hierarchy that was invisible to the untrained eye. In August 2013, a man by the name of Randolph Jorberg opened a club called Beer House in the busy street of Long Street. On his interview with Carte Blanche, he claims 3 days after opening the beer house, a man came to his club with a proposal to offer protection services, which he declined. But that didn't end there, because as time goes, his club faced a lot of threats and intimidation from the underworld which he stood against. In a CCTV footage, they were seen intimidating everyone, including the staff, and one of them was a 33-year-old Congolese bouncer, Kinnear. Then after that incident, a man by the name of Hussein Talib came to meet with the club owner Randolph Jorberg stabbed, and the knife was left in his neck when the men fled. Kinnear was declared dead at the scene. And for Randolph Jorberg, the message was clear. That's when he decided to pay the protection fee. Until in 2017, that's when Nafiz Modack came into the extortion security services. As Nafiz Modack would face legal battles, he would be represented by a lawyer called William Booth. William Booth, known for his sharp legal mind and his ability to navigate the murky waters of South Africa's criminal underworld, he had numerous enemies over the years. His representation of controversial figures had placed him in the crosshairs of powerful criminal syndicates, including Nafiz Modack, as times goes. This is due to the fact that William Booth was also representing Nafiz Modack's enemies, and Nafiz Modack felt he knew too much of his business. The morning of April 9, 2020, began like any other for William Booth. He had no inkling that this day would mark a significant turning point in his life and career. As Booth prepared to leave his home in the quiet, leafy suburb of Higgovale, a sinister plot was unfolding around him. Booth stepped out of his house, unaware that hired assassins lay in wait. As he approached his car, shots rang out. The attackers, clearly intent on eliminating him, fired multiple rounds. Miraculously, Booth managed to escape unharmed, though shaken. The police investigation into the failed assassination attempt quickly pointed to Nafiz Modack. Speaking about police investigation, Charl Kinnear was a top cop who was investigating Nafiz Modack, including 8 high-ranking police officers who allegedly in Modack's pocket. This was later confirmed by the Independent Police Investigative Directorate (IPID) report, which stated that there was a rogue unit in the Western Cape Crime Intelligence Division of SAPS and commended Kinnear's investigation of corruption within the organization. On the 18th of September 2020 at around 15:03, as he was leaving his home in Bishop Lavis, Cape Town. He was shot multiple times in the upper body whilst seated in the driver's seat of his white Toyota Corolla, resulting in his death. Nafiz Modack, Zane Killian, and 2 additional suspects, Amal Janchis and Janik Adonis, were arrested and charged for Kinnear's murder in 2021. Zane Killian is a former rugby player who had turned into a debt collector. Recordings made by Janchis indicated that a prior unsuccessful attempt on Kinnear's life had been made when a hand grenade failed to detonate in front of Kinnear's home on the 23rd of November 2019. Following the first attempt, a police detail was instructed to guard Kinnear's home, but was removed on the 19th of December 2019. As of January 2022, the IPID had lodged 2 criminal charges against National Police Commissioner Kayla Sitole for refusing to cooperate with its investigation into Kinnear's murder. In April 2022, one suspect, Fareez Smith, a self-confessed member of the Junkie Funky Kids street gang, pleaded guilty of attempting to assassinate Kinnear at his home in November 2019. Smith's attempted assassination of Kinnear failed when the grenade he was given to implement the assassination with fell out of his pocket in view of police officers stationed outside Kinnear's home. Smith was convicted of attempted murder, illegal possession of explosives, and contravening the Prevention of Organized Crime Act. According to the state, Zane Killian's involvement in the murder of Kinnear and the attempted murder of Booth was that he pinged their phones from the early hours of the day of the incidents and shortly after the shots were fired. Killian allegedly pinged Kinnear's phone 2116 times until he was killed, and Booth's phone 500 times on the day of the attempt on his life. Pinging a cell phone provides a signal revealing the phone's location, which in these cases was allegedly shared with those carrying out the attacks. And it's allegedly that Nafiz Modack paid Zane Killian over 100,000 Rand for these services. On May 6, 2024, during the ongoing trial of Nafiz Modack, a key state witness took the stand and began to unravel a complex web of deception that linked a seemingly innocuous investment to the botched hit on Booth. The witness, a former associate of Modack, testified that a significant sum of money had been funneled into a dubious investment scheme shortly before the attempted assassination. This scheme, he claimed, was merely a front to launder money for Modack's illicit activities. The funds, intended to appear as legitimate investments, were instead used to finance various criminal operations, including the failed hit on Booth. Investigators followed the money trail, which led them to a company that had received a substantial investment from Modack's associates. On June 18, 2024, marked another pivotal moment in the trial of Nafiz Modack. On this day, the court heard testimony that detailed how a staggering 23.5 million Rand had been laundered through an account linked to Modack. The money trail began with legitimate business transactions, but as it progressed, the funds were increasingly diverted to shell companies and offshore accounts. One of the key pieces of evidence was a series of bank statements that revealed suspicious transactions involving a company ostensibly dealing in luxury goods. However, investigators found that the company's primary purpose was to serve as a conduit for laundering illicit funds. This company was linked to Modack through several intermediaries, all of whom were now under investigation. On June 18, 2024, alongside the revelations about money laundering, another significant aspect of Nafiz Modack's criminal empire came to light: his extensive involvement in extortion. The court heard detailed testimony about how Modack had systematically extorted businesses, with luxury car dealerships being among his primary targets. Toy Shop, the luxury car dealership on Wednesday, the 17th of February, 2021. 3 unidentified men entered the toy shop, demanding 2 cars for their boss. When the team refused, more assailants exited 2 taxis parked in front of the shop, entered the premises, and began damaging the vehicles. The state's evidence showed statements from a former manager of the toy shop, Mark Misdorp, who said that more than R4 million was extorted from the company. Another state witness, Anwar Ghali, a former associate of Modack's from Johannesburg, said he transferred more than R3 million to Empire Investment Cars on behalf of Modack from his personal bank account. As this led to an arrest of car dealership director Mogamad Adiel Mukudam, who is linked to alleged Nafiz Modack on charges of corruption, fraud, and money laundering. The arrest comes in the wake of allegations of R3 million that was allegedly paid to a former top police officer through a third party who used the account of Empire Investments Cars, which is associated with Modack. But this was dismissed by Hawks captain Edward Duplessis, as bank statements from Nafiz Modack's account reveal that he made 600,000 rand in payments that he allegedly thought would go to former Western Cape detective boss Major General Jeremy Veery and Anti-Gang Unit, AGU, Lieutenant Colonel Charl Kinnear. On the 15th of December 2017, Charl Kinnear and other police officers searched Modack's residential address and seized firearms in relation to another case. 3 firearms were seized from the safe, and Modack could not produce 5 firearms that were registered in his name. Modack allegedly made the payments to get back firearms that had been confiscated by the anti-gang unit in 2017. But he did not get his firearms back, and Veery, who had no involvement in the bribery scheme, did not receive a cent, as Modack was apparently duped by a middleman. I guess that's what happens in the underworld. You rob Solomon to pay Samson. As controversial as Nafiz Modack, he seems to be a Robin Hood to some of his community members. On his Facebook account, you'd see him posting his charity work in collaboration with local religious leaders, which makes sense why he has this support during his trial, even though some people believe it's a rented crowd. But his inspiration from the convicted criminal boss Radovan Krejcir clouds his charity work, making him the Al Capone, Vincent Gigante, and John Gotti of Cape Town. Examining Nafiz Modack's case highlights key lessons for South Africa in tackling organized crime. The case underscores the resilience of criminal networks and the necessity for sustained law enforcement efforts and anti-corruption measures. It emphasizes the impact of organized crime on communities, stressing the need for enhanced community policing and support initiatives. Media coverage played a crucial role in maintaining public awareness and accountability. The legal challenges post-conviction show the importance of a robust judiciary and comprehensive victim protection. Addressing underlying socioeconomic issues like poverty and unemployment is vital to prevent crime recruitment. The case also highlights the importance of international cooperation and systemic reforms to build a transparent, accountable system. Encouraging community resilience and youth engagement can further help combat organized crime, requiring a multifaceted approach for a safer South Africa.